Wouldn't it be great if getting a translation could be faster, less expensive, and even enjoyable? I've been invited by Zelenka, one of Central and Eastern Europe's largest language service providers, to go behind the scenes and see how to do it. I'll be asking the important questions that matter most to anyone who relies on these services, and uncovering little-known tricks that you can start using today to make the whole process a lot easier. And for this video, I'm joined by Eric, one of Zelenka's business development managers, for 4 years now, I think, and he's going to talk to us about some really useful tips for saving money when ordering language services. Thanks for coming, Eric. What I'm hoping to find out today is how to save money on translations, not just like in the very beginning, but also how I can increase that savings over time. Mm-hmm. So let's just say I come to you with an 80-page PDF. I've got this 80-page PDF. My boss is talking to me and saying, hey, this needs to be done. You know, we have a certain budget for this, but it needs to get it done really well. So how can I go about saving money on that file, on that translation?
Okay, so the very first thing I would tell you is that we would need the file in an editable format. Okay. Editable format is any file that we can actively change and work in. So a Word file, for example, IDML, XML as well. And from there we can put it into our system so that we can purely see the text and nothing else, and analyze it with our computer-assisted translation tools.
Worst case scenario, I'm given this PDF file and I have no editable format. Can you still work with it?
We can 100% quote you for this. Only thing that this does is it does cost you money in the long run, and it does cost you time, because we have to make this PDF file editable with using our own resources.
What's the easiest way to get an editable file then? If let's say I'm convinced that there's only a PDF file, so
I can guarantee you there is not just a PDF file, because the program or the manual was written by somebody.
Right, that's true.
And if it is from your company, then it was written by somebody in your company. So you can check the properties of the PDF file and then ask whoever might have written it or whoever might have created it. So that's a very easy, simple step that will save you 5 other steps in the future. That actually leads to my other question that I would have, which in regards to a translation memory. Okay. So I would ask the customer, do you have a translation memory already?
Okay. So I know a little bit about translation memories, but I'm not quite sure about it. So tell me a little bit more.
So
please.
A translation memory is pretty much just a tool that agencies and translators use in order to scan a document, scan your text, among other things, for repetitions, for certain phrases that are similar. And depending on those similarities and the amount of them, an agency will be able to reduce the price of single words, or of the single word price.
Okay, so is there a way to visualize this for me a little bit?
Yeah, totally. So right now we are in between source document and translation. So at the very
we're like
beginning.
right here.
Yes, exactly. So at this point we assume that we have this editable format, which we put into our tools, and those tools then give us the analysis of your text. And this analysis will show the total amount of words and the different kinds of repetitions they are in. Okay,
so repeated words are priced differently than words that don't repeat.
You kind of got to imagine it in a way that those repeated words in the future will become the building blocks of your texts, of all your other texts. And let's imagine you have one agency that you've worked with for a while, and they have hundreds of your texts, so their translation memory is huge. So when they get a text...
So it's like a database.
Yeah, it's a database. And so when they get a new text, it goes to the system and the translation memory tells them, hey, this has been done already. This has been done already. So why would you as a customer have to pay a full price for something that has already been done?
Okay, is this common for most translation companies?
For every competent one, yeah.
Okay, good. So if they don't have one of these, you should really be thinking of working with someone else.
Yes, the question is, do they not have one, or do they just not want to give it to you? Okay. And that's one of those things that a lot of my customers don't realize is the translation memory is never the property of the agency. Okay. It's always the property of the customer.
Okay. So you have as a client, as their client, I have a right to request that
always,
at any time.
At any time. You can always go to them and say, I want to compare prices. I want my translation memory. And with that, and that's really important, because if you want to tender on the open market, if you want to look for a different agency for whatever reasons, it is incredibly important for them to have your translation memory. Because in the end, if they don't have the building blocks of your text that have been created and that are yours, they will never be able to compete your current supplier. A good example for that is we did recently have a customer asking of us for a quote. They did not send us the translation memory.
Okay.
We quoted for a certain price, and another agency that they've been working with for a while quoted less than half of our price.
Okay.
And I did find out when I called them like why they didn't order, and they told me about the price. I did find out about the actual word price.
Okay.
And our word price was actually cheaper than the word price of the other agency, but they were still cheaper in the long run.
Because they had that database
Exactly.
of things that would be repeated.
Exactly. So if you just look at the end price, it's not going to give you any idea about the services that are provided and about the value that a company adds.
Right.
It just gives you the end price, but not how they got there. What is also another good suggestion for saving money is don't send us multiple small files, one after another. Try to combine everything into one big batch, because the way this works is the amount of time that we spend on preparing those texts for quotation, it is automated, but it's still a person that's doing it. So imagine you have to repeat the same process like 10 or 20 times a day. How much better would it be if you could just do it once? Because everything is collected into one file. Okay. And another thing there is that we do charge minimum prices. Lots of agencies do. So why would you, you would, for example, pay the same price for 20 words as you do for 100. Okay. So try to really send as much as possible.
What would you say the main takeaways are from what we've talked about?
Okay, so yeah, the first one, definitely send us editable files. Okay. They help save time and money. Be aware of your translation memory, use it and know that you have it. And send us as much text as possible in one batch. Okay. And I am completely aware that not all of this is possible, but if you manage to just get one of these things right, it can definitely be very beneficial.
Eric, thanks for sitting down with me,
no problem.
You know, this has been really insightful, and I feel like these are excellent tips for how to save money when you're ordering translations from a new company. And if any of you out there have any questions, feel free to get in touch with Eric. We're going to put his contact information in the description of this video, and look how friendly he is. He's ready to help.